speaker, Mr. Shalon. Ms. Shalon is sustainability researcher specializing in waste management. She holds a master's degree in urban innovation and sustainability from the Asian Institute of Technology, or AIT, where she focused her research on e-waste management in Thailand. Her expertise extends beyond academia. She has actively contributed to developing technical guidelines aimed at preventing plastic waste leakage, particularly within the informal recycling sector in Pattaya and Nonthaburi. Her knowledge and insight into waste management policies, challenges, and solutions make her invaluable voice in today's discussion. Following her presentation, we will open the floor for a Q&A session where we will be moderating questions from the chat and live audience. Finally, we will wrap up the webinar with closing remarks and an official conclusion. Thank you for joining us today. We're looking forward to engaging session ahead. Before we dive deeper into our discussion on the growing challenge of e-waste, we would like to take a moment to introduce our key representative from Recyclo, Mr. Lapongko. Mr. Lapongko has been working as the Business Development Director at Recyclo for 7 years with extensive experience in sustainability and waste management. He has played a vital role in expanding Recyclo impact, helping business integrated circular economy principles into their operation. His expertise in fostering partnerships and developing innovative waste management strategies have been crucial in addressing environmental challenges. Today, he will give us an insight into Recycle mission services and how they are leading the way in sustainable waste solution. Please join me in welcoming Mr. La Hong Go.
Good evening, everybody. Amy, thank you for the introduction. Really nice to meet you guys, and really thankful for you guys, all of you guys, for giving your time and joining this particular program about the awareness on the e-waste. So let me do the quick introduction about the recycle. So please give us a moment. So Recycle is founded in 2017. So with the pioneer recycling service solution committed to driving social impact and fostering sustainability. So our vision is like clear but very ambitious. Like we want to become in the leading provider of zero waste and zero carbon management solution in South Asia, also in the Asia Pacific region. So we've been providing comprehensive platform for upstream, not only upstream but also the downstream supply chain management software. We also providing ESG analytics and combat platform in South Asia. So we want to expand our expertise not only in South Asia, also to the Asia Pacific region. So the impact that we created so far is that we have been have a 400 plus partner and membership across the South Asian network that we have been operating in. We will be able to save 100,000 tons of waste we have done and save the waste going to the landfill. We also provide awareness training on waste management recycling for the individual, also to the business to gain too much knowledge on the recycling, what kind of waste that we need to reduce, what kind of procurement structure that we need to implement it across the organization. Also to the individual wise, they can be adapted based on our training and adapt on their lifestyle. So our company is the Singapore headquarter company. We have offices in Thailand, Myanmar, also Malaysia, also in Vietnam and in Thailand. So our next expansion gonna be in Australia, probably will be happening in next year. So we also have office in South Korea as well. So our company is like want to become the advancing in smart recycling for global sustainable practice, targeting majority to the SDG goal of 12, like responsible consumption and protection. We are helping our client to achieve their climate action. Also, like by diverting the waste into going into the water, also going to the landfill. We've been like targeting, bringing our positive impact to the life below water SDG 14, also as well the life on the land. So our achievement so far is that we've been the winner of the Ocean Plastic Solution Award hosted by the World Economic Forum. If you go to the World Economic Forum, you will be able to see what our activity that we have been doing so far and what kind of positive impact that we bring to the world. So in 2021, we win the Energy Globe National Award winner. Also, ASEAN South Korea started with that place winning. So the ASEAN Korea started invited by the South Korea government, and we won third place on that one. So we got funded by the USA through the WE4F project, which is the water energy for food projects, targeting to the smallholder farmer by providing an organic fertilizer solution produced from the organic and food waste. Our company is an ISO certified company. We have been certifying ISO 9001 2015 to provide the quality management system and services to our client. So our achievement so far in 2024 is that we are especially in Thailand, we've been the EBR Leadership Award 2024 from India Chamber of Commerce. We also becoming the runner-up for Exceptional Entrepreneur in Thailand International Business Award. We became the runner-up for Most Promising Startup Company in Thailand International Business Award. So why people choose recycle is that we provide sustainable education customized to the based on the client need. We have an advanced technology which have the real-time data analytic platform for smarter outcome that bring the positive impact to our client. We can also do the customized, tailor training that address the unique need of our business, of our client business and organization to be able to become the leader in the sustainability landscape. We've been providing a sustainable solution. Not only the sustainable solution, we kind of finding the correct and viable solution for the client that will not be bringing negative impact to the environment with the actionable step of reduce, reuse, and recycle effectively. The service that we have been providing in the market so far is that we provide educational service and training. We also do the e-waste and data security recycling services. We also do the confidential like shredding or destruction of the confidential document. We also provide waste, carbon, energy auditing and consulting. We also have a platform which is like number one is like ESG software platform. We are targeting to the SME to achieve their ESG reporting goal, like to get the green funding or get them more investment and get more exposure in the ESG landscape. We also provide the waste management software for the SME, also the business to track the waste production rate, and in order to strategize based on the data and to make a actionable plan for their organization. We also have a carbon footprint calculator platform where the SME, also individual, can go and check out like what kind of footprint they have been left behind for the wall. And also we also have a reporting, certification, accreditation, and compliance, related services. So this type of certificate and compliances that we have been helping our client to achieve it. So we have been like helping our client to achieve like a sustainable certificate, also as the standard certificate on the different industry. The type of waste managed by and accepted by recycle so far right now is like we cannot accept and recycle e-waste. We also do the plastic waste recycling, multi-layer packaging recycling, also the metal waste we got accepted, and organic and food waste where we turn into the biofertilizer or organic compost. We also accept the glass waste. Sometimes some of the waste cannot be recycled. So what we do is that we also hosted the upcycling program for the businesses. Right now, we also accepting used coconut oil, grease, and fat to recycle into the biofuel. So here is a sneak peek to our technology. We have a waste management solution software. So where our client can track the real-time tracking system to monitor their waste generation, and also they can track their collection days and also like recycling process through our platform. They can also there's data analytics of the waste data that they have been producing, or which might help them to optimize their operation, like waste operation, and reduce the cost. That also integrate with the reporting tool where the user can generate the detailed report for regulatory compliance or the performance assessment. So next is we also have an ESG software. ESG software is you can be use our platform to measure and report on environmental, social, and governance performance. So which also comply with a lot of international standards like GRI or SESP. You can track and adhere to ESG standard and global regulation and create a comprehensive sustainable report for the stakeholder, not only to the internal stakeholder, but also to the external stakeholder. So our ENT software is an AI integrated and blockchain technology integrated. So that our AI feature and like machine learning in software can be able to give you a recommendation and feedback on like, based on your setup, what kind of environmental topic or ESG topic that you would like to disclose in your ESG software, and you can like go with the flow with the AI suggestion. So the carbon footprint tool we provide is that we support the ESG compliant reporting to track the emission in your organization. So our platform is user-friendly and very transparent. Our calculator intuitive like interface make it simple for user to interpret the result and giving you the sense or overviewing in your whole carbon emission, your whole carbon footprint, and the company can strengthen their ESG credential and meet their regulation standard. So we will be covering the scope 1 emission, also the scope 2 emission as well, and the scope 3 emission. So this our like previous project that we have been like operating in Thailand. So we have been providing training and auditing service to restaurants, also to the production facility, also the building management so far. This our global client. So Recycle have been in this industry since like 2017. So we have been trusted by this global client like Unilever, Nestle, Coca-Cola, also UN agency and the embassy, especially from Myanmar, right? US embassy also to use their waste management service effectively. Yeah, thank you for your time. And I will get back to Amy. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much, Mr. Lapungo, for your presentation. Okay, now let's move to the most important part of our session, our keynote presentation. I'm honored to introduce our keynote speaker, Ms. Chalon, speaking on the topic of growing challenge of e-waste and how e-waste affects our health and future. If you have any question during her presentation, write them down in the chat and I will ask Mr. Chalon. Please welcome Ms. Chalon.
Thank you, Amy, for your kind introduction. As Amy mentioned before, my master's in master in urban innovation and sustainability from Asian Institute of Technology with focus on electronic waste management. My thesis explore household e-waste practices and sensu chonburi, specifically looking at public awareness initiative. So today I'm excited to share some broader insight of on e-waste and its importance. So we're surrounded by amazing tech, right? So, but what happens when it breaks, when it gets outdated? So let's explore those issues and challenges on e-waste. So let me start with one question. What's the first thing that comes to your mind when you hear e-waste? You may share on the chat so that I can see what you think of e-waste and what e-waste is in your opinion.
Computer laptop.
Okay, old phone, battery, broken electronic. Okay, okay. Great, great. Okay. Okay, cool. So this is definition, a formal definition of e-waste from UN. You can see that it's e-waste, anything that's electrical, electronic equipment that is waste, which you don't use anymore, which in anything with a plug, cord, or circuit, it ends up in the trash, is all e-waste. So it can be phones, laptops, even old headphones, it adds up fast. So what are the categories in e-waste? It's not just old phones. So this slides breaks down into categories. So look around your home or an office, you will recognize these devices. The first one is temperature exchange equipment. So you talking about fridge, AC units, all the big stuff. Um, they can be harmful if they're not handled properly. The next one is screen monitors. So laptop, TV, tablets we use every day. So imagine all these screens piling up, okay, in the landfills. And another one is lamps. So light bulbs can be e-waste, even an energy saving ones. So more categories. Let's look at it. So large equipment. So I mentioned washing machines and everything. And then there's also solar panels. They are also like considered e-waste if they are expired. They're very big, bulky. So these require specialized handling because of their size, and it also contains a lot of toxic hazardous materials. And there's small equipment like microwave, toasters, all these kitchen appliances, household appliances. So we might not think these are a big deal, but they will be a very, very huge problem in the future. So then finally, small IT telecom equipment like phones, iPads, like routers, those things, it will create a huge stream of e-waste. We need to know all these different categories because it's about awareness. It's about seeing the big picture, realizing that every piece of tech we use contribute to this e-waste challenge. So these are like newer category in terms of e-waste, right? So we're talking about green transition. We're moving towards a more sustainable future because we need to run away from fossil fuels. And they're linked, e-waste and the green transition, they're linked. Because we're talking about renewable energy, electric vehicles, and smart homes. They all power by technology. So what happens when all these tech are no longer needed? We don't use it anymore. What happened to them? So green transition cannot be truly green if we're just creating a bigger e-waste problem. We have to come up with a solution. No, we need to think of their entire life cycle of our technology. So let's see some examples. Solar panels. We see in 2022, 0.6 billion of kg e-waste. In 2030, it will be 2.4. It's like 4 times increase. So this is concerning. So we're investing heavily in solar energy because we want clean energy, right? So we think we have to start thinking about waste it can generate. In developing countries, we use like small scale off-grid solar panels with shorter lifespan, so it becomes more common, like 3 to 4 years, and it's a lot of waste piling up. But I'm not discouraging solar energy. It's about investing in robust recycling infrastructure, designing longer lifespans, and educating consumers so that they can dispose responsibly and recycle properly. So another one is EVs, right? Electric vehicles. So they're the key driver to sustainable transportation to reduce fossil fuel and dependence. So the sales has increased from 14% to 18%, 2022 to 2023. So it is a big jump. But I want to clarify something. There are electronic components in EVs, such as electronic control units, wiring, and sensor. But batteries and electricity storage devices are not technically classified as e-waste. They are hazardous waste. So I see one comment about battery. Yes, it's a hazardous waste, but we don't consider it as e-waste. So they also need a special care as a different special kind of waste. The transition to these EV is a positive step, but we also need to be mindful of the environmental impact of these technologies. So like in Thailand, we see a lot of BYD, Tesla, even in China, they have like, I think 30-40% of the cars are like EV cars. So like it's gonna be a problem in the future. We talk about e-waste. So now it's time to face some facts. We're talking about massive amount of e-waste globally and locally. So if you think in millions of tons growing every year, so we should care about these numbers because it impacts us and in our communities. So local landfills are filling up, resources are being wasted, and the environment is suffering because of e-waste. So, all right, let's talk numbers. You see those figures, right? So 34 billion kg of e-waste in 2010, and now 2022, 2 years ago, 62 billion kg. So that's a massive, massive jump. So the chart breaks down into categories. So small equipment and large equipment are the biggest contributors. So those are the bulk of the problem, where the problem lies. So you can see it's like household appliances are the main contributors of the e-waste. The technology is evolving fast. We're constantly upgrading, and it feels like our gadgets are designed to break. So how many of us know exactly how to properly recycle our old electronics, right? Like not a lot. So let's look at the global situation in a map. So Africa, mostly developing countries, right? So they generate 3.5 billion and recycle 25 million. So we're only looking at 0.7% recycle rate. So it's like less than 1%. America is better because it's developed country. They have better infrastructure. So 30% of the e-waste are recycled. Asia, about 12%. But look at the e-waste generated. It's 30 billion kg. It's more than America. It's more than Africa. But only 12% are being recycled. Europe, much better in recycling rate. There's the top one in recycling rate, and followed by Oceania with 41.4% being recycled. So let me ask you one more question. Like I want to know how much you're aware and what you do. So what do you usually do with your unused, expired electronics? Where do these electronics end up? Can you type your responses? Okay. Okay. Interesting. So, according to the responses, to just store at home, and Amy redeem and top up the price. So that's one way to reuse. You put it back into the secondhand market, right? So that's how we reuse and prolong the usage. Okay. Great. So let's look at the e-waste flow. So it starts with production and trade, and it hits the shelf. It's in the shops, and then we use it, and then what? So it goes to four routes. Route one is the best one. So we collect and recycle. The second one is you just dispose them with other solid waste. And route three and route four basically informal waste sector handle these e-waste. Although they're good ways to recycle, but they are like less regulated sector. So there's a lot of risk doing recycling of e-waste because they don't have proper safety and procedures. So these are some numbers that goes into those routes. So mostly goes towards informal waste sector. Okay, well, let's talk about the roadblocks. So we see like a lot of the e-waste are not being recycled. Europe is doing better, but still only about like half is recycled. In many regions, recycling rate is shockingly low. So why is it happening? So these are some of the challenges. Insufficient facilities, lack of enforcement, low awareness. It's a very complex problem. So let's zoom into our region, ASEAN. Uh, this slideshow shows that e-waste situation in some of our countries. So it's a mixed picture. So with some clear leaders, some areas that need urgent attention. So Indonesia is number one in e-waste generation with 1,900 million kg of e-waste, and followed by Thailand and Philippines. So let's talk about legislation. So only three countries have national policy in e-waste, and only one uses EPR. So the three countries that have national policy: Cambodia, Malaysia, and Singapore, and Vietnam uses the EPR properly. So what are the common challenges in ASEAN? So we all know most of us are developing countries, so we have weak regulation, and infrastructure is also weak, and the informal waste sector is very dominant. So a lot of e-waste go to in Thailand we call it salangs, right? And then like waste pickers all go there. And the third contributor is a very low public awareness. We don't know how to recycle e-waste properly. So let's talk about global regulation. We talk about problems. So what are some of the global regulations that try to tackle e-waste? So this is a rule book, a framework to guide us. So they set the standards of how e-waste is handled from production to disposal. So without these rules, it's a chaos, right? So let's see. The first one, Basel Convention. So it's a key player in global e-waste management. So think of it as the world's rule book for hazardous waste, not just e-waste. So it controls hazardous waste management, regulating the movement of transboundary e-waste. So it's making sure that developed countries don't just dump their problems on developing nations. So why it is important? Because it sets the standard. It's about ensuring that e-waste is handled responsibly, no matter where it comes from or where it goes. So here's the challenge though. So it only be effective if countries actually implement it. So 3 and 4, right? So we need to push for stronger national legislation. We need to promote environmentally sound management, and we need to foster international cooperation. And let's look at the regional powerhouse because they have the most recycling rate. So this shows EUWE directive, a leading example of how regulations can drive change. So think of it as a blueprint for responsible e-waste management within the EU. So it focuses on producer responsibility and collection targets. So it talks about making manufacturers take responsibility for the end of life of their products and setting ambitious goals. It is important to know because it shows it is possible for us to make it happen in the future. So it demonstrates the strong regulations can lead to better e-waste management and more circular economy. Let's get serious now, like about the consequences. Now we talk about the problem. So, but what are the actual impacts of e-waste? It's not just about ugly piles of trash. So because these devices contain very toxic materials like lead, mercury, that can go into our soil and water. So that's environmental contamination, right? And there's like health problems. Here are some examples, like 58,000 kg mercury release and the brominated flame retardants, like usually found in the circuit board. Those have very toxic elements. So those and managed e-waste will go directly into the environment and causes like bad like negative issues. So this slide shows the real consequences, the real life consequences of e-waste. It's not just about statistics, it's about people, right? So look at the image on the left. So in developing countries, informal waste management is big. So these informal waste pickers, including women and children, they work in dangerous conditions. They are exposed to those toxic materials daily. They try to make a living, but they're risking their life doing it. And you look at the right photo. Burning e-waste, it releases pollutants, toxic, into the air. So it poisons communities nearby. So people living around, like they just breathe those toxic. And it's not just environmental damage, it's injustice. So this is an example of backyard recycling. So they're doing like very manual thing. So they just use bare hands to take out stuff, like valuable materials from the e-waste. So they burn with like acid and those kind of stuff. So it exposed them, those workers. So it has very hazardous effect. So these are some of the chemical examples that goes into the environment and causes problems. So here are some of the health problems you can get. Okay, like for mental health, cancers, like reproduction health. In female, the fertility rate will go down, or even like male sperm count, and it's also dangerous for moms and babies. And so it has very like high risk to our human body. We have to take a big punch like dealing with those e-waste if they're not properly recycled or handled. So let's look at the best practice in e-waste management. So we've seen the problems. So let's try to look at some of the solutions that what is good practice? What is the best practice in e-waste management? Right. So there's one country in top it's Sweden. So I'm going to show some of the activities they do in order to uh, make it to the top, right? So let's travel to Sweden. So this slide shows a nation that's truly leading in e-waste management. It's not just one policy, it's like holistic, it's comprehensive. So first, producer responsibility. They make sure that they have a robust system for extended producer responsibility, EPR. So producers, manufacturers, they collect and recycle their own waste. So if every company took responsibility for their e-waste, it would be a very good game changer, right? So it would incentivize them to design for sustainability. And then look at the high collection rates. Like it's 75% e-waste collection rate. It's huge. It's going towards almost 100% in the future. So it's why is it high? Because of the accessible drop-off points. People easily can dispose their e-waste if they just like nearby. Another one is strict regulations. So that sets everything up into a very sustainable approach to e-waste management. So these are some of the examples that Sweden does. So they have some e-waste collectors in stores. So when you go shopping, you can just put your e-waste in there. And then there they have just hazardous truck, just very specialized truck just for hazardous waste. So they go around communities to collect. So communities do not need to go out and throw their e-waste. And a recycling park for bigger ones, and then also the environmental station for bigger household e-waste and normal like small equipment. Okay, let's look at Thailand's e-waste journey. Like we aspire to the success of nations like Sweden, right? But where are we now? So this slide outlines our approach and future goals. We're developing laws. It's still under development. We have a draft WE Act based on EPR principles. It's a good step into the right direction, but our collection infrastructure is still lacking. So this is a key challenge. We know we have gaps. The informal waste sector is still dominant. So we need stronger regulations in that sector. So these are the reality we face. So we have clear goals. We have to develop collection points, implementing regulations, and creating a national e-waste policy. So these are the steps we're taking to build a sustainable system, a system that can one day mirror the success of Sweden. So like I show you the Sweden, right? The Sweden has a lot of ways to dispose e-waste. But in Thailand, when I did my research study in Chonburi, most of their responses were that they don't know where to dispose their e-waste. Like they don't see the collection points. Like The informal waste sector is big because they come into the community, they announce like, oh, I'm buying this type of e-waste, and do you want to sell? So they sell to those informal recyclers, right? But it creates big problem because they don't have proper structure, proper safety regulations and procedures. So it impacts the workers and the communities nearby when they recycle the e-waste improperly. So those are the current situation in Thailand right now. But let me show you the video where how it is 4 years ago, but it's still some relevant cases there. Let me see.
The amount of discarded electronics and waste shipped to Thailand from abroad for disassembly, crushing, and final disposal increased to unprecedented levels in the last 5 years. Processing of electronic waste scraps results in a release of hazardous chemicals and byproducts. The harm to the social and physical health of communities in Thailand is often overlooked in favor of perceived economic benefits. Often it is the poorest communities who work in recycling workshops and have to deal with hazardous toxins ruining their health.
I talk about 49 countries imported waste to Thailand. We are after colonization. Please not colonize us with your waste. We could not handle our domestic waste. So please stop waste from your country to Thailand.
Management of the transnational business with used electronic waste and scraps has a devastating impact on the environment.
We cannot solve the problem by ourselves alone by national level. We need international conventions to protect our people's health to achieve the planned recycling conditions.
We appeal to Thai and international policy leaders to ban press-down reflows of e-waste that can be reused and is fit only for material recycling or disposal. To ratify the ban amendment to ban export of e-waste from OECD countries. To license new e-waste recycling facilities based on commitments to sound environmental management guarantees. To include public use and inputs into the decision-making process of the new facilities.
So this video is like about 4 years ago. So right now, Thailand has already banned the transboundary flow of e-waste into Thailand. But even though Thailand government has banned, there are some ways that those leakages, the e-waste coming in illegally still. So we have to be very strict about those things. So because Thailand already has high domestic e-waste generated already. So if like other countries e-waste coming in, it's hard to control because Thailand right now doesn't have national e-waste policy right now. So but it's on the way, it's coming. So we have to be aware of this law before it become implemented. So we have to get used to what it's gonna come. Okay, so let's look at the private sector contribution to Thailand e-waste management. So this showcase zero landfill recycling approach in Thailand. It's a key part of our journey towards sustainable e-waste system. So one day we will achieve like what Sweden is doing right now. So we can see three main processes. So dismantling, domestic recycling, and waste to energy. So manual dismantling yields valuable materials, domestic recycling process them, and non-recyclables are used for energy. So this is a comprehensive approach, current approach for Thailand. It is a positive step. It shows that companies are taking initiative. It demonstrates that private sector is crucial in achieving our goals. So we see major contributors like EIS, Toyota, WMS. So these are the key players. Their involvement is vital for scaling up these efforts and building a robust system. So we saw these initial steps in Thailand. Now let's look at the advanced processes for e-waste. These details the specialized recycling done in Japan for precious metal recovery is a crucial part of zero landfill approach. So we start with size reduction, like materials are crushed into powder for efficient processing. Then the recycle process happen. Smelting, chemical recovery are used to extract precious metals like gold, silver, lithium, platinum. So now, but why we sent to Japan? Because we don't have the infrastructure, proper infrastructure to process the advanced like stages of e-waste recycling. So yeah, but it shows collaboration is needed for effective e-waste management. And finally, the raw materials. So these recovered materials are used to make new products. So closing the loop, creating the circular economy. So this collaboration between Thailand and Japan highlights the potential for international partnerships. So it's a step towards a more sustainable future where resources are recovered and reused. Okay. So these are some of the examples. So AIS has collection points in their AIS shops. You can also find in some shopping malls. So they show what they accept. So they accept batteries, small like mobile phones, headphones, those things like small ones. I think they also have e-waste app, so you can see get some information what type of e-waste they accept. And also e-waste can be this type of the second one, the yellow, the orange one, you can find in Chula University around. So they also collect e-waste. And then the other two shows the informal waste sector. So that's the majority, the private sector initiatives in handling e-waste management. One thing I didn't put in is the hazardous waste bin collection, like bin from Pollution Control Department, Thailand. But it has very limited, they only accept limited type of e-waste. But mostly they accept household hazardous waste like sprays, lamps, batteries. So very limited right now. But that's why informal waste sector is still very huge in Thailand, because not like there's policy is still pending and the infrastructure is still lacking. So nothing is like formalized yet. So that's the current situation in Thailand right now. So we have to push, forward to be more sustainable in terms of e-waste management. So we've seen challenges, so let's focus on solutions. So this slide introduces the step we can take towards e-waste sustainability. It's about, turning awareness into action. So we're not just here to discuss problems, we're here to find problems because we want to create sustainable future. So yeah, let's try to connect e-waste to a bigger picture. So this slide shows how sustainable e-waste management contributes to UN's Sustainable Development Goals. So it's about seeing the interconnectedness of our actions. So we see SDG highlighted, SDG 3, good health and well-being, because we reduce toxic exposure to the workers and the communities. And the 6, clear water sanitation, preventing water contamination. And also the 12, very important, responsible consumption and production. So it promotes circularity and reduces e-waste. And we also see climate action, life below water, life on land. So sustainable e-waste management contribute to all of these goals. So it's about protecting our planet for future generations. So this SDGs is a roadmap for a better world, and sustainable e-waste management is a crucial step on that journey. So how can we achieve this? So we have to go from linear to circular economy, right? So on the left, the linear economy, it's like take, make, dispose. So resources become waste. It's not unsustainable. So we have to move towards circular economy. So when you look at it here, so it all starts with urban mining. So because let's say in a mobile phone, they use gold, they use platinum. So the very, very like valuable metals, and you have to mine them. You have to do mining to get those parts, like different parts to make one mobile phone. So if you're going to keep buying, keep consuming without recycling, you're like supporting mining, right? So when you recycle, they extract those like valuable materials and use them into a new product. So it becomes like circular. You prolong usage, you reduce e-waste. So that type of concept is the best way to sustainable e-waste management. Next, I introduce the key players in e-waste management. So it's about understanding that we have rules. We have rules to play. So we're not just talking about individuals, businesses, or government. It's about everyone working together. It's about shared responsibility, right? So this slide highlights the key actions businesses can take for a circular economy. So 5 areas. So minimizing waste, designing for durability, and repair. You repair and reuse instead of, oh, it broke down and you just throw away. If it can repair, you repair and then you use it again. So it's about minimizing waste. Okay. And responsible sourcing. You have to choose sustainable materials when you produce. For like companies, you should use like sustainable products. Like the easy way is like energy rating stuff in like fridges and like even like laptops. They have like energy rating star, right? So if you don't know what these are and how to dispose them, like businesses like Recyclo can help you with this. So that's an example. And the take back programs, you take responsibility of your own products. And number 4 and 5 talk about transparency and collaboration. So sharing information, working with partners, they're crucial for driving change across the entire value chain. So let's highlight the benefits of businesses that can gain from sustainable e-waste management. The first one is enhanced reputation. You are building trust with your customers. You're doing the right thing, so your brand value increase, and it saves costs also because of the resource efficiency and waste reductions. And there's also new market opportunities, tapping into growing demand for sustainable products. You create innovative products. And the risk mitigation part. So if you do e-waste management properly, it reduces legal and reputational risk. It's about future-proofing your business. So sustainability is not just a cost, it's an investment. So by embracing a responsible e-waste management, business can create positive impact while strengthening the core of the businesses. But we all know it's not easy, right? So it highlights the challenges the business can face. So implementing sustainability e-waste, it requires investment in technology, innovation and processes. And also we need to collaborate with other stakeholders, like suppliers, recyclers, and consumers. It can be challenging, but it can happen. Like you find the right supplier, you find the right recycler, and then we work together to solve this problem. Consumer awareness and participation also important. So you should educate consumers, encourage them to participate. Recycling programs It requires efforts and resources though, but it can be done. But businesses don't need to do it alone, right? So how can government can help? What's the role of the government? So we see 5 essential areas. Policy and legislation. Of course, we have to create clear and effective regulations, and government needs to work together with businesses, NGOs, and international organization or other countries. Like previously I mentioned, with like Thailand and Japan, they work together to recycle e-waste, right? So those kind of collaboration, government need to support it. And financial incentives, like you encourage investment in sustainable practices. Um, it's important because government can set the framework, create incentives, and ensure accountability so businesses can follow and organization can follow what the government set the framework for. So it has a unique responsibility to protect the environment and promote sustainability. Last but not least, it's about us individually. What can we do, right? So this highlights the key actions we can take to drive a circular economy. So we see 5 steps. So reduce consumption. We buy only what we need. It might be hard, but this is the way to protect our planet and better for the future. And we reuse, donate, extending the life of our devices. And we do proper disposal, recycling responsibly. So we go through, dispose our e-waste to, like AIS or we use like experts, like waste platform, like Recyclo or like WMS, we use them to properly dispose the e-waste because we know that they're going to recycle responsibly. So why is our role important? Because it's our choices matters, right? So our buying habits, our disposal methods, they all make a difference. And spreading awareness, supporting responsible companies, they are also important. So we have to educate each other, and we also have to support businesses that prioritize sustainability. So we can be the voice for change. We all have responsibility to protect our planet. So we have to take these actions. We have to create more sustainable future for ourselves and generation. So this slide represents the core of our message, right? Sustainable e-waste management. So this is the summary of responsible reuse, responsible recycle. So we've explored the challenges, impacts, and the solutions. So this visual encapsulates the journey from responsible reuse to responsible recycling. So this isn't just a diagram, it's a call to action. It's a reminder that e-waste can be a resource, not just a problem. We can reuse those wastes to a new product. So we've seen how businesses, governments, and individuals can play their part. So it's a collective effort. It's a shared responsibility. But to conclude, I want to give you some thoughts to consider. So my question for you is what's one action you're willing to contribute to reduce e-waste footprint? So with that question, I would like to end my presentation. Thank you very much for your time and participation. If you have any comments, questions, please feel free to ask. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Shalom, for such an insightful presentation. Now we are opening the floor for questions. If you have any question, feel free to drop down at the chat box or raise your hand.
If you don't have questions, you can share your thoughts or what are the challenges that you're facing in terms of e-waste in Thailand we can do the discussion, like what should be done, what's the best way for Thailand, because it's your country, right?
Miss Shalon, I have a question. I'm a Thai citizen, and I want you to forecast what would be the potential government policy to protect our citizen, or like any policy can less harm to electronic waste to our countries.
That's a great question. So when I was doing my data collection, right? So I try to collect what the concerns are. One of the concerns like the lack of awareness, and the they don't see the collection points of e-waste. So my suggestion for the government is that we should increase the collection activities. So like in Sansuk, Bangsan, they do collections 2 times per month, and they said they did that marketing on Facebook. But the thing is that people don't know that they're doing those activities. So that's the thing. So they have to make sure that, okay, I'm collecting e-waste on this day. You have to go to the communities, announce them with speakers or whatever, and just make it like very obvious that, okay, we accept e-waste. So that's one thing. Um, Another policy is that like you have to make sure that the EPR system is solid, right? So producer and the government needs to work together in order to come up with that solution, because if we don't know where to throw, it will end up either at our home, or it goes to like landfill and informal waste center. So it's bad, right? So the policy has to be strong enough in terms of EPR, and they have to come up with a good decision. So I talked with PCD officers. They're discussing. They're very close. Like big private companies are taking the lead. I think it might happen in 2-3 years. So I'm very hopeful about Thailand e-waste management.
Thank you for the insightful answer.
Okay, I see. I see. Is there safe way to handle e-waste at home without professional recycling services? Hmm. I think like for e-waste at home, I think you need to go for professional recycling service, because you cannot dismantle, you cannot just take part like stuff from your phone or laptop, because you need to have a proper training in order to do that, because it's very harmful for you, right? So you need to make a list of which services are available near you. So you contact the professional recycling services, and then like, okay, I want to give my e-waste, and then they will come and collect. Or if it's just a small things, I think you can go look at website like AIS, or also have a mobile app, so they can come collect also. So these steps are the first steps you can do to dispose responsibly, sustainably. Thank you for your question.
Uh, ไม่ทราบว่ามีพี่ๆท่านไหนอยากถามคำถามเพิ่มเติมไหมคะ อ่า If anybody have additional question, you can send us an email and we will respond to your email and provide the insightful answer or knowledge back to you. So I want to extend my heartfelt thanks to Ms. Shalon for her expertise and to all of you for joining today's webinar. The e-waste crisis is real and its effects to all of us, but awareness is the first step forward. Action. Let's take what we have learned today and make conscious choices, whether it's recycling our electronics responsibly, advocating for better policies, or educating others. If you want to learn more about recycle services or discuss e-waste solution, feel free to reach out. Thank you again for your time, and we will see you in the future event. Have a great day. Bye bye. ขอบคุณค่ะ